All right. Hey guys, thanks for jumping on tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit about filling up our challenge groups and how to, get people in there, get people connected to our programs and products. But first and foremost, so you guys want like tangible tools and tips. Obviously, I know that. Sorry, I have an itch all of a sudden in my nose. But first and foremost, it starts with belief in you and the products. So I'm going to tell you straight up right now that, I am sitting here with Success Club 2, and it's the 29th of the month. And I am semi freaking out, but I'm semi freaking out. Because here's the thing, I know what I have, I believe in it 110%, and not having people jump at that. So obviously, I'm not doing something right. So I need to reevaluate. But the first thing you have to know is that 110% you believe in your story and our programs and products. You have to have a journey with them. So if you bring on coaches and they're like, well, I don't have a story, they have to go through a program. They have to have their own journey, even if it's a 3-day refresh they get started with, or even if it's, 7-day clean week. They have to have a story and start somewhere. Everyone can have a story. So whether you come into this and you have, 10 pounds to lose, like just that unwanted, annoying 10 pounds, or whether you have 100 pounds to lose, it doesn't matter if you walk in here with, all the time in the world to work this business, or literally within 2 to 3 minutes of pockets of your day. All of us can do this job and have our own story. It's just a matter of believing in yourself that you can do it, and the programs and the products. So it seems probably really basic, but what I'm going to tell you is you need to be all in on a program, all in. And you need to, if you haven't been all in on a program yet, then I urge you to do that. Because if you haven't opened the plan, looked at the videos, implemented them step by step, and given it its due diligence to trust the process and do the work, then of course it may not necessarily work. And of course, then it's going to be harder to believe in the programs or the products. Okay. So my example for you to that is when I started as a coach, when I started my Beachbody journey, I did not want to do Shakeology. I was adamant I didn't need it. I was that person. Okay. I was a nurse. I knew how to eat healthy. The whole thing, the story. So I only did the 21-day fix, and I only actually did the containers. I didn't even do the workouts because I was going to my coach at the time, her gym, her studio, and I was doing 1 to 2 hour long workouts a day at her gym. Sometimes I went twice a day. They had childcare, and I went twice a day. So I was doing her workouts. I was not drinking Shakeology, and I was basically just following the containers. And I didn't really have anything to say about it because I was in all different pots. I didn't trust the process. I didn't just give it its due diligence of 21 days and follow it and see if it actually worked for my body or not. Now, I'm a firm believer in that, what we have isn't necessarily going to work for every single person, because we all scientifically have all different sort of makeups and all that sciencey stuff. We're all made up differently. Our chemical levels are different, all of that. So I do think that maybe sometimes what we do isn't right for somebody else. But if they're not willing to try it, and if you're not willing to have your story with it, then how do you know? So first and foremost, you have to have your own journey with a program and a product full out, okay? You have to believe in yourself while you're sharing that, you have to just share raw and authentically. Lissy does a really great job of sharing her ups and downs on her social media. Like, she's obviously a newborn mom, and she is sharing the ups, sharing the downs, and she's not afraid to put it out there. That's being real, raw, and authentic, because people don't want to see her come out there every day and slay the game 100% of the time. They're not going to relate to that. But they are going to relate to the mom that's just trying to do her best, or the girl who is, following things as much as she can and doing things how they're written and still, being real and raw. So the next thing that you need to do in order to fill your challenge groups is, this might seem silly, but so many of you guys, the belief that I talked about in yourself, and whether it's just you right now or you have challengers, successes, non-scale victories, statistics, all that sort of thing, whether it's you and a couple things to share or just you sharing your stories right now, you have to have that belief. And if you don't have that belief, I can firmly say that you're not probably pouring into your personal development. And I think we have somebody here on this call who has been killing her personal development game over the last several months. And I think it's like really helped out, I would say. I don't know. But she was somebody that was like, just going to listen in the car, but I'm not actually going to read a book. I'm not actually going to do much more than listen to all the stuff, but, not implement the personal development. So I think it's so important that you're opening a book every day, even if it's 2 to 3 pages. Like, literally, I will just read 2 to 3 pages, not even a full chapter. But in that 2 to 3 pages, at least, is some sort of nuggets. And you have to do personal development that is what you need at the moment. So even if if I suggest what I'm reading right now and it's a great read and you want to read it, but it's not what you need right now, put it on your list to read in the future. But you've got to be reading something right now. Read while you're waiting for your Energize to kick in. Read while, the kiddos are in the tub. Read while, you're waiting for dinner to cook in the oven. Read whenever. But read. And put that positivity in between your ears, because the more you do that, the more you are going to feel better about continuously sharing this opportunity, especially when it feels like nobody's listening, but people are. Okay. Okay. So believe in yourself, have your own story. You need to be doing some sort of personal development, like reading a book. And then the next thing, getting people into your challenge groups is, and I don't want to say I'm an expert on this. Obviously, I'm not. I only have Success Club 2 right now. So I have like really no room to talk. But I think it's really important that people take a look at their social media content, okay? When your storefront is your social media, that's your storefront, okay? That is where people are going to come to learn about your story, your journey, and what you're going through. That's what they're to learn. They're coming to your page to learn about. They're not coming to your page to learn about, 80-day obsession or Transform 20 or Shaun T. They're not coming there to learn about that. They can go Google Shaun T and Transform 20 and all the rest. Okay. They can go YouTube that. They're coming to your social media to see what you have to offer as their coach, as someone who's going through this. Okay. So your content on social media has to be of value. Say this all the time. If you're posting just, quotes and then like a quote picture, like off Pinterest, and that's it, and you're just saying like, how, this was on a call the other night, I heard somebody was saying, I don't know if it was a Julie Bory's call or whatever, but, you share an inspirational quote and you're telling somebody, and actually it was Melanie Mitro, was on her podcast last week. You're sharing an inspirational quote and you're telling somebody how they just need to set the excuses aside even though that's really hard, they just need to do it. That's not really motivational to someone. That's just like telling them what to do. But instead, if you took that quote, put it in your text, and made it a picture that wasn't the quote, made it a picture of something else that's of your life, that's of your lifestyle, and then expanded on that and said something to the effect of like, you know, what your excuses have been, how you've overcome them, and how you feel now, that is more valuable to somebody than just slapping a quote up there, a picture of a quote or whatever, and saying, no excuse Wednesday or something. I'm just using an example. I don't know. So you have to have good content. You also need to make sure, like, I don't like to be the person that says like you have to do this, this, and this, but quite honestly, you have to. Okay. There are coaches in the network who are slaying their businesses. They are not afraid to invite people. They are not afraid to put out there how they feel, what they want to say. And guys, quite frankly, they're, taking our people. I don't want to say that in like a negative way. They're doing the right things, but I say this to say, like, I see coaches out there doing an amazing job at their social media content, drawing in tons of people, but then not being able to give that behind the scenes support because it's so many people. Whereas, if we weren't so afraid to put ourselves out there and we upped our content and we got people, to come and join us, then they would actually be supported. I'm not asking you guys or even myself to hit Success Club 20 or 50. I'm just saying let's help 3 to 5 people a month and let's support them every week, every day, and get them results, okay? So your social media has to have good value and content. If you are just throwing up a picture of yourself and your groceries and saying, Meal Prep Monday, got it done, like that is no value, unfortunately, to anybody. People can go hashtag Meal Prep Monday and find all these accounts with great tips and great value, and that's where they're going to go. So if you're not giving some sort of value with that Meal Prep Monday photo or whatever it is, then they're not going to be filling your challenge group, if you're getting my drift, kind of. Your pictures, you have got to, I recently thought about this some, and all of us were always in our workout clothes or whatever. And there's a lot of people out in the world who just wear workout clothes and don't work out. So that's fine. But there's also a lot of people who don't work out and don't, live our kind of lifestyle. And they're they can't relate to us in our fitness gear every day. So don't forget about taking pictures of yourself. Just take a whole bunch of selfies one day when you actually get dressed, or when you actually do your makeup or your hair. Like Jamie's got her hair done today. Girl, get in front of that window and take some selfies. Take them and have them in your photo log, okay? That way you have some fun, bright, nice pictures to use and then give valuable content. Your pictures, you want them to be light and bright and eye-catching, okay? So whether you have to put it in to Instagram or whatever, and change the brightness and the filters and all that, or if you have to, I use Lightroom, but you've got to take bright pictures, eye-catching things. You have to take it in front of a window, open the refrigerator and use that light. Chalene Johnson uses that example all the freaking time because the refrigerator lighting is ridiculous. But you've got to be getting in front of a window. Same thing with your food. If you're taking a picture of the plate of your food, go in front of a window, okay, and take it there. Make things eye-catching. You want to, hang on, I had a couple other examples here. Let me get back. I had some, where's my notes? Okay, so if you're inside, by a window. If you're outside, use your phone on a timer. Set it up. maybe do like a different angle. It doesn't always have to be just of your face or of your whole body. If you are, like right now I'm in my spare room and it's dark and I have like a ring light. So you can use a ring light. Get other people to take your photos. Okay. So I know it's like really silly, but I got to ask Brian sometimes to take my photo. I'm like, you got to take this photo. Like, otherwise there's really no like natural looking photos of myself. Different angles, different lifestyle photos. So whether that's like your kids, and it doesn't always have to be a pretty perfect picture. So, maybe it's like chaos in the picture, but it's light, bright, and fun. Okay. That sort of thing. And then when you're posting, talk about who is the old you. What are you struggling with? What is your biggest excuse? How can you conquer things? How did you win today? What inspired you today? You are the main subject. So like I just said, like you are the storefront, not Beachbody, not Shakeology, not Energize. You are the storefront. And also think about this being as a small business owner. And I can actually say this is a great example, actually. If you aren't showing up on your social media once a day, I would say twice a day, but once a day in a post, and then 5 to 10 times a day in stories, then your business is not open for business. There is a like frozen yogurt shop in our town, and I swear to God, the lady is like never open. And it's like they're closed on random days. They just don't show up. And then like I'm like, how can you afford this store? How can you afford this business? Like you're never open when we come. And so I mean, she's losing our business every time. And then the other days I'm not going when she is open because I'm like, well, she probably ain't open today. So like you have to be showing up. And even if people aren't coming in the store, you have to be showing up. This is your business, okay? So you're the main subject. Obviously, throw in there things about your lifestyle. You need to have something flowing through your social media content that makes people think, oh, I want to go to her page because or if something comes up, they know to go to your page. So this is an example I've used it before. I've told Jamie. She does a lot of things with her son, like preschool activities. And I was horrible at that shit when I tried. Horrible. But she is like good at it. And so that I would think she needs to brand herself like with that. Like that's what she needs to talk about. She needs to put it out there. She needs to use those sort of hashtags like moms looking up busy boxes and all sorts of like pre-K activities, stuff like that. And then people will think, oh, I just saw Jamie do this activity with Richie. I wonder, what activities she's got going on this week. So that's just an example. Like you have to have something outside of Beachbody. And I can tell you guys, I go to your pages and I look at them and all I see is you and your Beachbody journey. And I'm not going to lie, while I love seeing you guys do your workouts and, choose healthier foods and, be positive and motivational, I love that. You don't need to draw me in. I'm already here for you. You need to be drawing in other people who need to know why they can do what you do. Okay. So if you're not sharing that kind of stuff, then it's just going to be really hard. Some other things about posting. So in your posts, like I think we all forget about this sometimes, but when we do it, we're like, oh, that was a great post. Like side by side things, asking questions, like even if it's just a picture and you just ask a question, like ask questions, evoke conversations. You want people talking back and forth in your posts. Own who you are. That is like one thing that probably is the hardest for people and for myself. But with personal development, I've gotten so much better at owning things about me and sharing about them. For instance, like that I take medication for depression, even though I want to lead this like all natural, healthy lifestyle. Other things. I'm not good at like this mom thing. Like I really kind of suck at it. Um, I own these things and I talk about them, even though they're kind of hard to put out there. You know, there are things that other people put out there that I haven't gotten to those steps, but if you feel brave in your heart and you know it can affect somebody else in a positive way and you have something to share, like share it with people. People don't want to be alone, and a lot of people like feel alone. Um, so let people into your world in your posts, like, don't try to connect with everyone. You really need to be finding the Lissies, the Jamies, the Carries, the Kylas. Because if you're just trying to talk to everyone, you are going to get burnt out because everyone isn't going to be your jam. And when you are trying to work with people, whether it's, let me let my cat in because it's driving me nuts. When you are trying to work with people and motivate them and cheer them on, and they are like nothing but the opposite of you, it's draining. Like, you want to enjoy the people that you talk to, you want to relate to them. Okay. So draw the people in who you are like. Let's see. Okay. Share your struggles, but spin it so that it's like a win. I think a lot of us do a great job with that. And add value. Okay. So what else do I want to say about content? Let me see real quick. Go to my page real quick because I know that I had a thing. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't have a following or I don't have like a lot of people. Don't worry about how many people you do. Don't worry about how many of getting like new people all the time. You have to be looking at the people who follow you now and maybe put out there like on your stories. Jen Sturgis is a good example of this. She does it a lot where she'll throw up in her stories or somehow in like a post on Facebook, she'll put up like, what can I share that you would be more interested in seeing? Babies, date nights, do you need more help with fitness or nutrition, or do you struggle more with fitness or do you struggle with nutrition? Are you a after dinner snacker or like that afternoon munchies kind of person? Like interact with people and get ideas of what people want you to talk about, and that's helpful too because then you know what your audience wants, and when you talk to them they tend to talk back. Let me see. You're killing me. I can't. Okay, let's see. So I think you guys can kind of see where I was going with this. You were probably like, okay, well, she's going to tell us how to hit Success Club and fill our challenge groups and all that. And really, it's not, there's no secret like sauce here. I am in the trenches with you guys. I don't have a secret. I am doing the same things that I'm telling you guys like you need to be doing too. And it's like one thing that I'm super passionate about is that I want you guys to know what I'm doing because it's no different from what I'm asking you to do. I don't want people to think like, oh, she doesn't have to invite or she doesn't need personal development or, she just works out every day without like fail. Like I want you to know that I'm in the trenches with you and I have to do all of these same things to grow my business. And so there are like, you'll see out there, wait, where was I going with this? Shit, it happens all the time. Oh, yeah. I lost my train of thought. It happens all the time. So your filling your challenge groups comes down to you having a journey, you being consistent, you keeping your storefront open, believing in your story, and having good content so people want to be coming to your store and seeing what you have to offer. Okay. Anybody can go to beachbody.com and just order something and get a coach. Anybody can go to eBay or burn a DVD or whatever, but you have to make you what they want and why they want to be with them. What was I going to say? So really don't understand why my brain is like fogging right now. Okay. I don't know why I'm like I'm really having like a mental block. But the last thing that I just want to touch on is if you are doing all of those things and I don't want you to think all those things is going to take you all of your time. Like guys, if you need to listen to the wake up call today on replay if you haven't yet already, but so valuable in making things easy and simple and not overcomplicating things. I overcomplicate things all the time when I send a person a message on Instagram that's like this long on my phone. Okay, that's so overcomplicating things and making people like no, just hey Jamie, hope you had a great Monday. Saw you on my stories. Were you interested in details for my next nutrition and fitness boot camp? Yes or no? That's it. Like we overcomplicate things so much. I think where we need to be, we can be more specific is like sharing what people get and what's in our packages and what our products do for us. Like I think we could be more specific in our stories that way and then put them in our highlights. I've seen a lot of other network marketers who are successful in other companies be doing this, and they really don't talk about the actual products and programs anywhere else other than in their stories. And their posts are just all like lifestyle and fun and like how their Instagram would be if they weren't a network marketer. So the last thing I'll say is that we have got to be inviting people. And if we are not inviting, we have no business. We don't. It is, I hate to say it, you guys, but Carrie and Kyla know this just from being like on the team for a longer period of time. Gone are the days where inviting, we would tell business building coaches, like people who wanted to build, and make $500 a week or $1,000 a week or whatever. We would tell them, invite 3 to 5 people a day to a challenge group, invite 1 to 2 people a day to the business. Those days are gone because there is so much positivity and education coming up in the world about network marketing that we're not the only ones in this anymore. Like we were for a while. Like other companies were not as good. They weren't put out there as much. But now that people are like learning about network marketing and its actual like ways that it can change people's lives, we're becoming, I don't want to say Beachbody is not saturated, but I think network marketing is starting to become saturated. But here's our good thing too. Maybe network marketing is becoming saturated, but what we do and our products and the value that are in them and how the effort that goes into making sure Shakeology is like 110% on point for people's health and not crap, like that makes us stand out. So you have to believe in that and you have to know it. And if you don't know it, if you're not familiar with all of that, like look up ingredients, look up Darren O'Lean, listen to him speak. Like this man literally goes and digs up ingredients in the dirt in other countries and cultivates them and brings them back so that the people here can put these into our shake. Like he's on the forefront finding them. And so we've got to be inviting. And so like gone are the days where you only had to invite 3 to 5 people. We've got to be inviting more. And if you're not inviting, 10, 20, I'm making a push to invite 50 people a day. That is hard, I know. And you're like, that's crazy. Like, I don't even have 50 new people a day to invite. But here's what I want to tell you, and some tips that I've gotten from like Carrie Briscoe, one of the other diamonds on the team. So her team is pushing really hard to get a bunch of her girls to diamond. Their coaches, their emerald ranks, they're not anywhere where you're not at, and they're pushing for diamond rank. They are doing these pushes the last like 6 to 9 weeks of inviting like 30 to 50 people a day. And they're doing it by constantly sharing their story, constantly keeping their storefront open, finding their people to add to their network, giving good value. And then they do have more eyes to invite. And then, so I want to give you an example. I want to give you a tangible example. So for instance, say you went to a story that you posted today, whatever one had the most views, just pick one. And you went through those people and you just chose every single person that you would actually want to work in this business with or work in a challenge group with. And you sent them a very simple, hey, Lissy, saw you on my stories today. Thanks for watching. Are you interested in more details about our fit community, our next boot camp, whatever? Plain and simple, that's it. I write Lissy's name down. Then say Lissy doesn't answer me, doesn't answer. But I see her still watching my stories and it's been like a couple weeks. I'll send her another one. So in 2 or 3 more, not 2, probably like 3 or 4 more weeks, she'll get another invite from me. And so that same person, I'm not necessarily inviting 50 new people a day, but if you haven't said yes, and I told Lissy and Jamie this on our power hour earlier, if you haven't said yes, or if you haven't told me no, then I'm going to continue to invite if you're bringing yourself up to my table. So someone did last week, finally, I looked back at our conversation, invited her 6 months in a row, once a month, and everything was different. It wasn't the whole same copy and paste thing. So that was fine. But she never answered. She looked, but never answered. And she finally answered last week and she said, hey girl, not sure if this is like an automated message coming from you, but I'm just not interested in this. It's not for me. And I mean, I was just like, I didn't go into the whole like, why, whatever. She can keep watching. This can just be a touch point. I just said to her like, oh no, it's not automated at all. I really actually am inviting you because I think you'd be fun to do a challenge with. And I don't even know if I asked her why she thought it wasn't for her or something, but I just made it genuine because like I am asking people that I want to hang out with. So, when she told me it wasn't for her and I said, no sweat, but I don't know unless people tell me. So thanks for at least answering me back and telling me. Now I won't have to invite her anymore and that's fine. Or maybe I'll just, follow her on Insta, whatever. But my point is, so like, whether it's all the people that have watched your stories today, and then you go to your posts and check out people from there, or you go to new followers and check out people from there, you can find a decent amount of people. And if you're finding that it's really a big stretch, I've talked about this before, going to your followers list and the people that follow you, inviting them. They're following you. Somehow they're not seeing your stories or seeing your posts, but they follow you. So maybe they're seeing your posts and they're just not liking it. I don't know, but you can like make a connection with them. So maybe not so much 30 to 50 invites to your boot camp, but maybe 30 to 50 conversations of some sort. You know what I mean? So of anything. So if it's people who have watched your stories and liked your posts and those are invites, and then people who are following you and you realize you've never connected with them, put that person on your list for that day. And then keep a running tab of your people, because over the last 7 days, I've invited, it was like 300 people. And I was like, still, people aren't really like getting moving here. I needed to do follow-ups, and follow-ups are key. So I went through everybody that I messaged, and anybody who answered me back, I marked just a little dot by their name right away, just that they answered me back. And then that way, when I went to do follow-ups today, I could go to them and be like, send them a follow-up. Sorry, I haven't followed up with you. That's my fault. I got super busy over the weekend. What questions did you have for me about the boot camp? And then it engages them again. And I was able to send like 20 follow-ups today. And then lastly, I just want to share, I shared it last week on the Power Hour with Carrie, but I did do, I don't know how many I said it was last week, Carrie, but maybe like, I think I got up to 175 invites in like 4 days. And out of those 175, maybe 15 to 20 people even responded at all. Like some of them were no thanks, not interested, which I further went into like, oh, okay, what makes you not interested? Like, what about are you already on a journey? Like I still did a conversation. Some people were like, can you tell me how much it costs? And then I said, I'd love to tell you about the investments, but I'd love to hear more about you first to see if this would even be worth it. Then some people were like, yeah, give me more details. And I just basically told them, we're going to be doing 30-minute workout a day, following a nutrition plan, having a superfood shake for a meal or snack, and just having fun for a few weeks before Memorial Day to feel our best. You interested? And that was it. So my point is, I messaged a lot of people. And if I'm having to message a lot of people, you guys have to message a lot of people too. But that all comes down to feeling good and about your journey and about your story with your product, okay? And sharing what things have done for you. If you don't feel like you have a story to share, if you don't feel like you have one thing that this Beachbody community has done for you since you signed up and said yes and clicked enroll, then we need to talk, on the side, because that's not what I ever want for anybody. So you need to have a story, have a journey, a perfectly imperfect one, and you need to be sharing it. And if you share it and people, say something or comment negatively, or you feel like they are behind your back, you don't have to worry about that. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Rachel Hollis says it all the time. I just listened to a great podcast of hers this morning, and she said the people that, what did she say? It was in my post. I don't know. It came from her. Basically, it said, the people that are going to judge you are people who have been less successful than you. And they're less successful because they're scared, they're unsure, they don't want to move outside their comfort zone, yada, yada, yada. But the people who will always be on your side are the people who already achieved more than you, because they've been in your shoes. They've been in the trenches with you. And I can say that. Like, I can honestly 110% say that I totally know how you guys feel. I understand the ups, the downs, the frustrations, the wins, like everything. And it's because I've gone through it. And so, just know that if you're surrounding yourself with our team, with the challenge group, you're making friends in the challenge group or within the team, then those are the people you want to be surrounding yourself with. And the people that you fear might be talking about you negatively behind your back or putting you down, like, those are not who you want to be surrounded with anyway. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's going to be someone in your house or someone in your family, okay? And I can just tell you that, like, my stepmom thinks that this is a joke. She thinks it's a total joke. But here I am. She does my taxes every year. And I'm like, I don't know. I've gone on 3 free vacations in the last 3 years. What have you done besides bust your ass in tax season? And that's, neither here nor there. That's my dad's business. So he's an entrepreneur himself. But, like she thinks it's a crock of shit. She thinks Shakeology is a crock of shit. Like her kids could benefit from it and nothing. So there's always someone in your family, and they don't have to be a part of this. They're obviously not going to be in our team page. They're not going to be in Beachbody Champions. They're not going to be in your challenge group. They are not going to be in your world unless you let them. So, okay, that's it. And then I was just going to end it with, since today is the 29th, I am still pushing. Like, just because it's the 29th and tomorrow is the last day of the month does not mean I am not still inviting or following up. So I'm going to post the recording of this in the team page. I shared earlier with the girls just a little blurb of like what I was sending to follow up to people. And I'll post in there like my goal for follow-ups and invites tonight. And if nothing else, I know my life has changed. All of your lives are changing. And this has done nothing but bring more positivity than negativity in my life. I'm not saying there hasn't been some negatives and of course frustrations, but the positive definitely outweighs the negative. Okay. So that's it. And just evaluate your social media, your content, like really, really pay attention to that. And the other thing I'll just say is, like I said, post 1 to 2 times a day. Stories is really where you want to be giving all that like extra kind of throughout the day of stuff. Yeah, that's it. Kyla, do you have any tips for filling challenge groups? Right.
Somebody else currently writing the struggle bus from this month. I mean, not immediate. The only thing I can ever really truly speak to is just consistency. Sorry, I have something else in my background that's making noise. Because I personally am struggling this month because I didn't work this month. So it's like literally a direct reflection of like the effort that I did not put into my business this month. So it like momentum is a real thing, but you have to actively keep it rolling. Like the hill doesn't just go. You can't just have like one good month and then you forever and ever hit Success Club. It's not how it works. It's why someone like Megan, who has hit, years in a row, is in this position right now. I'm not saying that you didn't work this month, but like it doesn't just magically happen. You have to continually do the work every single day, even when you think it's not making a difference, because it always shows up on the other end. And my 9-to-5 job that I work, I would never expect to just not show up and continue to get paid for it. So it's the same thing here. You have to consistently do the work. So just be consistent. That's where I'm at right now. Is I just, I had shit going on this month and I let this fall to the backside, even though I know better. It's easy for this to be the first thing that you let go, because I'm not in a position for my full-time job to fire me currently. So I had to take care of some things. But yeah, and just be you. Don't worry about what the rest of us are doing on social media. Find your own way, so you can find your own people, because you'll never connect with the right people or anyone who will ever want to sign up with you if they are seeing me in you, or Megan in you, or Ashley Molstead in you, because that doesn't ring through authentically. And they're going to find they're going to find me, they're going to find Ashley, they're going to find Megan instead. So you just have to find your own people by being yourself, that whatever makes you weird and different than the rest of us. That's what people want.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback that real quick. 2 things. One is that I know why I'm struggling right now, and it's because in March after our accident. Like, and that's, I know that's like, you know, people could be like that. It's totally fine. It's expected. It's, you know, it was a lot, but I did nothing for like, when I say I did nothing but follow my nutrition and wish to work out for probably 15 days up until we went on our cruise. I didn't work this business. Like, I checked in with you guys, I did our challenge groups, but I was not inviting. I was not talking to anyone behind the scenes. And that is why I am here right where I am today. I did not pick up back to inviting and sending invites until 3 days into our cruise, because I was so close to not hitting for April or March as well on the cruise. And I hit the last day of March sending messages from the cruise. Okay. So that's why I'm saying just never give up, even if it's like the last day of the month. But that's why I'm in a slump right now. And you can just see like how that all plays into effect. Lastly, and then I will let you guys go. I'm sorry. I do like to talk and I'm chatty. I just love this stuff. If you are not, I can 110% attest to the Success Club activity tracker. If you are not using this every day in your business as a guide of what to do, you need to be doing it. Kevin Shaw had me do it. I was working with him last year before he moved into a different world of Beachbody. He was having me check in with him every week with this tracker and the people that I invited. So the tracker, all the checks, and then the back of it, the names, every week. And it was from October to, I know exactly when it was, because my book is not complete the last 7 weeks. So right up till the accident or whatever. But every week is completed and filled out to a T with names and invites from October, every week, Christmas, my birthday, all of it. And I hit Success Club, no problem. October, November, December, when those are our hard months because of the holidays. And then January, February, you know, leading into March was great. But it was when I stopped using this and stopped using it as a guide, tell me what to do, and I just was worried about throwing up a post or getting my stories to look like somebody else's or this and that, where I faltered. So I've always used a tracker like this. They've had one for years. This one's just different this year, and it's more in tune to what we do now with IG and stuff. But if you have not printed one out, and if you have not given it the due diligence of every day for like a week, I just urge you to like try to do that just for a week. Just try it and see what happens. If nothing else, you're having a tracking system where you can go back and follow up with people. And if it works, then you can see how easily duplicatable this is to teach your coaches. So, okay, that's it. We're going to have a great night. We're going to go into May strong. And thanks for getting on the call.